You know, in college athletics, we have a lot of favorite nights of the year. That's what's great about college athletics. You know, I think our Hall of Fame induction night may be one of my favorites. Having been here at Missouri Western 19 years, Hall of Fame celebrate excellence and history and dedication, and really folks that are a part of our history and will be forever and help lay our framework. And I think our 5 individuals here this evening, as we get to know more about them, it will be awesome to see their excellence and their history and dedication, and it's great to have them here with us this evening. I'm Brett Easley, Senior Associate Director of Athletics here at Missouri Western State University, and on behalf of Griffin Athletics and the Hall of Fame Committee, I want to thank you all for joining us here this evening to honor Dana and Philip and Steve, Jenny, and Dave. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get started this evening, I would like to recognize our Missouri Western Hall of Fame Weekend title sponsor, and we are so very fortunate to have them for the 2nd consecutive season. They have been a great backer of Griffin Athletics, and we are so very fortunate that they are the title sponsor of the Missouri Western State University Hall of Fame 2018. Give a big round of applause for Rogers Pharmacy, ladies and gentlemen. And to give a welcome here this evening, it's my pleasure to bring to the podium, representing Rogers Pharmacy tonight, Mr. Benny Rogers. Benny, come on up.
Thank you, Brett. Brett told me I had the title sponsor awarded me all of about 10 or 15 seconds, so make it quick. So, 10 or 15 minutes, I misunderstood, okay. First of all, I just want to thank everyone involved in this weekend's Hall of Fame activities, especially for asking Rogers Pharmacy to again be the title sponsor. It's indeed our pleasure to have our name associated with such a great event, and also associated with Missouri State University athletics in general. I want to especially thank Brett, who has been instrumental in our participation, not only in this event, but also in other sponsorship opportunities. Anyway, my official job is to give the welcome, and so I'll do that right now. And that is that I would just say, on behalf of the 100 or so employees from Rogers Pharmacy, we thank you for allowing us this honor, and I welcome you to tonight's activities, and thank you again.
Benny, thank you very much. And again, thanks so much for the support of Rogers Pharmacy and being our title partner for the 2nd consecutive year. I would also like to direct your attention to your Hall of Fame program, as I would like to take a moment to say thank you to our 10 corporate table sponsors here this evening that purchased a table. Again, you'll find them listed in your program. The financial support of all of our partners is what allows us to provide a first-class event for all of our inductees. Please give those individuals a big round of applause. Well, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, behind every great program and organization, there's a great leader, and we've got one here at Missouri Western State University in the Department of Athletics, and it gives me great pleasure to bring to the podium right now the Director of Athletics at Missouri Western, Mr. Josh Looney. Josh, come on up.
Thank you, Brett, and wow, what a great turnout tonight. This is awesome, and what a great opportunity to celebrate our 5 inductees this year. This month of October is an absolute beautiful time on our campus with the fall changing of colors, and it also happens to be a time when Brett mentioned we bring back people to our campus. And so homecoming happened 2 weeks ago, and it was great to have alumni back, and then Hall of Fame weekend now, we get to bring back people that had such a profound impact on this institution. And so it is my honor and pleasure to be able to introduce to you our Hall of Fame class. We're going to dig in throughout the night in depth in each one of these individuals, but it is my pleasure to introduce them to you this evening. So I will start here to my far left, and your right. That's this way. And you'll see Mrs. Tammy Slifer and Coach Dave Slifer. Let's give a round of applause. Coach, welcome back. And when I say welcome back, and everyone has here, we actually mean it tonight. You know, typically he comes back and he's the coach of Central Missouri, and everyone says, welcome back, coach, welcome back, coach. And then we proceed to cheer against him for his team to lose each time. So we mean it this time, genuinely, coach, welcome back. Thank you. I do have one question for you, though. Can't wait. Who the heck was the AD that lets you get out of here, go to a conference rival, and win a national championship? That's what I want to know. But welcome back. And how cool is this? Next to Coach Slifer is Miss Jenny Marr. And just give her a round of applause. And Jenny was an impact player for Coach during his early time. And I think we all know to have winning teams, it takes great talent. And Jenny certainly had that. And to be able to put these two in the Hall of Fame, sitting next to one another at this table together on the same night, that stuff doesn't happen very often. So pretty neat to be able to do this. And Jenny, welcome back as well. Our next inductee is Mr. Steve Craig. Steve, welcome back. We'll focus on athletics this evening right here, but for Steve, if there was a Missouri Western State University campus-wide Hall of Fame, that's truly what this honor is for Steve. If you followed our campus over the last decade, whether it's the School of Business, whether it's athletics, this campus is transformed pound for pound more than any institution in the country over that time, and it doesn't happen without his vision, leadership, and support. So Steve, thank you so much, and welcome back to campus. Seated to my right, your left, we have two more inductees, and we have Mr. Philip Nelson and his wife, Mrs. Mary Frances Nelson. Welcome back. And Mrs. Dana Wirtz Leach and her husband, Mr. A.J. Leach. And let's give them a round of applause as well. And I introduced the two of you together because it's pretty neat. They'll be inducted tonight for individual honors that you'll hear a lot about. But the way I look at their bios, they're the ultimate teammates. What's interesting about Dana and about Philip is for their respective teams, softball and football, every single play started with the ball in their hand. That's leadership, a pitcher and a center. For Philip, that meant every single snap of his 4-year Griffin career. He started 44 consecutive games, never missed a single snap. That's the most selfless thing I can think of from an offensive lineman, and it is quite impressive. For Dana, she rarely left the pitcher's mound, and the opponents rarely left the batter's box. Over 600 innings pitched, nearly 500 strikeouts, and I think all of us that played team sports know there's no better teammate than a teammate who is consistently great, and both of you were that. So welcome back to the two of you as well. We have a number of special guests with us this evening, but none more important than our president, Dr. Robert Vardabedian, and his wife, Dr. Laurel Vardabedian. Dr. Vardabedian is in his 11th year here and will retire at the end of the year. I'd like to invite him to come up and say a few words if you like, Dr. Vardabedian.
Well, thank you very much, Josh, and thank you all very much. What a nice crowd for our Athletic Hall of Fame dinner. And I'd like to echo Josh's comments of appreciation to Rogers Pharmacy for their sponsorship of this entire Hall of Fame weekend. Thank you very much. Well, we have a lot to celebrate tonight, some things you might not be totally aware of, but in the last decade, we've nearly doubled the number of student athletes that we have on campus, which is remarkable in terms of allowing that many opportunities for our student athletes. And of course, they're students and they're athletes and they're excellent students in most cases, so we appreciate that. Also, and a lot of it's thanks to the man to my left, our athletic facilities really have evolved to the point of being huge points of pride for this university. And this is both indoor and outdoor facilities. And you'll hear more about that later this evening. So we have a lot to celebrate tonight, and we have 5 remarkable people being honored tonight who helped to get us where we are today. We have an outstanding and statistically prolific women's basketball player, Jenny Marr, a superb football player who, as Josh noted, was an endurance role model for his teammates, Philip Nelson, a women's basketball coach who had a sensational career here and then went elsewhere and continued to have a sensational career, as Josh noted, winning the D2 National Championship in women's basketball last year, and then a legendary softball player whose name appears all over our softball record books in Dana Wirtz. And then finally, and certainly not least, a visionary benefactor whose generosity has truly transformed our athletic facilities in Stephen Craig. And I might add, my wife and I have been doing this higher education thing now for about 40 years, and I've never met a benefactor like Steve Craig. Just gives and gives and gives, and both academically and athletically, he's made a huge difference at this university. So congratulations to honorees, and thank you all very much for joining us on this special evening. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are here this evening to pay tribute to 3 former Griffin superstars, 1 Griffin softball player, 1 Griffin football player, 1 Griffin women's basketball player, 1 Griffin women's basketball coach, and 1 individual who has distinguished himself in the category of meritorious service with their induction to the Missouri Western State University Athletics Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame was established in 1986 to recognize outstanding achievement by Missouri Western State University alumni, faculty, staff, and/or meritorious service in the areas of athletic achievement, coaching, or other noteworthy accomplishments in athletic-related areas. A 5-year waiting period is required for alumni selection. The award may be presented posthumously to alumni, faculty, and staff, or for meritorious service. The selection should be made on the overall career of any individual. However, it may, on occasion, be based on a single accomplishment. Hall of Fame recipients will be present during the banquet each year, and any living and able honoree is expected to be present to receive the award. Honorees will be given additional time to be present. Ladies and gentlemen, our first inductee tonight began his head coaching career at his alma mater, Mount Mercy University. After 6 very successful seasons that saw his team play in 2 NAIA tournament quarterfinals, 2 Final Fours, and 1 national semifinal, Mr. Dave Slifer came to Missouri Western to lead the Griffin women's basketball program in the 1995-96 season. Coach Slifer continued the success he'd had at Mount Mercy, once taking the helm of the Lady Griffins. During his 9-year tenure as head coach, the Griffins went 206-69 overall. That is a .765 winning percentage. Against conference opponents, Dave led the Griffins to an even slightly better winning percentage, going 115-33. That is a cool .777 clip. With win totals like that, ladies and gentlemen, it's no surprise that Coach Slifer ranks as the all-time wins leader for Missouri Western women's basketball. During his 9 seasons, he led the Griffins to 8 consecutive NCAA tournament appearances, missing out in only his first season as head coach. Over that stretch, he was named MIAA Conference Coach of the Year 3 times, as well as being a Kodak Russell Athletic Coach of the Year finalist following the 2001-02 season. Under the tutelage of Dave and his staff, 6 players were named first-team All-MIAA. 8 were second-team selections, as well as both Freshman Conference Player of the Year and a Defensive Conference Player of the Year. One player who we'll hear from later on tonight was a co-MIAA Conference MVP, one of the rarest honors. Twice during his coaching career at Missouri Western, his teams won the regular season MIAA Conference Championship. Those were the 1996-97 season. That team finished with a 14-4 conference record, and a 2001-02 season with a 16-2 conference mark. Slifer's 96-97 team beat Missouri Southern, Emporia State, and Central Missouri on their way to the conference tournament title. Then in 2001-2002, that season, Slifer again coached the team to the conference tournament title, beating Truman State, Missouri Southern, and Washburn along the way. With his success at Missouri Western, as so often happens in coaching, other opportunities came calling. Slifer left Missouri Western following the 2003-2004 season, moving on to conference rival, the University of Central Missouri. His winning ways have continued stronger than ever, with his most recent achievement, a national championship last season. The Jennies bested Ashland by a score of 66-52 in the title game, breaking an Eagle 73-game win streak. For the Slifers, coaching seems to be a family business. Dave's wife of 35 years has also been his coaching partner for 21 of those years, 9 at Missouri Western and 12 at UCM. Following in their successful parents' coaching footsteps, their daughter Brittany, a basketball coach for the Lee Summit West High School women, and son DJ, an assistant coach for women's basketball at Texas A&M Kingsville. Daughter Maggie, though, realized with this much success going on, there was an opportunity for her in the jewelry business for championship rings. Coach Slifer's story tonight wouldn't be complete without mentioning his devoted parents, Yvonne and Dale, who you can see have had steadfastly supported his coaching career from his days here at Missouri Western through last year's national championship and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure tonight to introduce to you 2018 Hall of Fame member, Mr. Dave Slifer.
This is the only time I'll ever have to lift up the mic. Thanks, Ease. Appreciate that. Oh, yeah. Ease and I go way, way back. I wanted to kind of reiterate, we've had a couple of schools defect from our conference, and me being who I am, I can't shut my mouth sometimes, but at the basketball media day, I thought of a great line, so I kept repeating it till I finally got on the Kansas City News. And the MIAA is not for everybody. And I'm telling you, we have got a great league with outstanding coaches, players, and there's even a couple of good administrators. So I see a lot of guys out here, and I thought, you know, to kind of introduce myself and my family, I needed to tell this story, and some of my good friends don't even know this story. And some of you guys may say something epically stupid sometime, and you think, God, somebody could remember that for 6 months. I've got a 25-year one I want to tell you about. We were watching Ashland warm up in the national championship game. And Tammy, who is now Gigi, that's Brooks, her grandson. That's her favorite kid in her favorite human being in the whole wide world. So, but she leaned over and she goes, you know, now you get your chance at your national championship. And that was about the first time I cried all night. I cried all night that night because it was such a fun, wonderful evening. But the story is this. It was 1993, and it's kind of funny because it takes care of all 3 stops. I was at Mount Mercy College at the time. I just finished my 4th year. Tammy had just finished her 4th year as the head coach at Linn-Mar High School, and I did a lot of camps. One of the camps that we did was here at Missouri Western, and we call it the High Five Camp, and a guy by the name of Steve Huber, who used to be at Benedictine College, was a co-owner with me. And so during the summer, I had a van, had a couple kids, a pregnant wife, and I was gone a lot. And so I'd put basketballs in there, T-shirts, big thing of laundry soap. So I'm sitting here on a Saturday night in June. It may have been July. I can't remember the exact date. People from St. Joe will know, but it was Saturday night. We were starting the camp on Sunday, and all of a sudden, we were listening to radio, and they said, the water plant's shut down, the floods hit, everything is shut down. So we had to cancel camp. So we canceled camp and ended up getting it set up a few weeks later at Central Missouri, the school I'm at right now. The only problem I had was I was doing a camp in southern Iowa, and so I was going to miss the first day. So I go to southern Iowa, I do my thing there, and I'm driving back, and on a 2-lane country road in this van with all my basketball stuff in there, and I'll have to admit to a bad habit at that time. I might have had some red man in my cheek, and it was a full spit cup, okay, a full one. So I'm driving along this country road, and a car turns out in front of me, and I veered right. And I'm thinking, man, was I lucky? I can't believe I didn't hit that person. Well, all of a sudden, the van started bouncing up and down. And next thing I know, the thing had rolled over. And all of a sudden, it was just a whiteout. I thought I was dead, except for I had spit all over me. It was laundry soap, okay? It was laundry soap. That package of laundry soap had exploded, and so it was a whiteout. So it rolled all the way over, and so all of a sudden there's a knock on the window, and this dude goes, "Hey, you all right, buddy?" I'm going, "This is the middle of the country. Why is there somebody out there?" I go, What are you doing here? And he goes, "Well, my car broke down about a mile down. I was walking along the road. I thought you were going to kill me." So we hitched a ride back to town. I got a rental car, fortunately, and so this is where my brilliant play came in. And we'd been to the NAIA National Championships for the last 3 years, and it was always a depressing time after you don't win, but we didn't. So I called my pregnant wife, who was going to have Maggie, my youngest, and so I just said, "Hey, I've been in a wreck." "Well, are you okay?" "I mean, I'm fine. I thought I'd died and I'd never won a national championship." I thought it was the right thing to say at the time, and we didn't have a fourth kid, so apparently it was not the right thing to say. So,
That's not exactly the story.
well, somewhat. Whenever we moved here, we knew we were coming to a basketball hotbed, and we were very, very excited, and we learned the first tournament how enthusiastic it was. Dave Bradley from the News Press gave us 250 T-shirts, and we decided to have a clinic, and we're going to play the defending national champions, North Dakota State. Well, we have this clinic on the day of the game, and it's a 2-hour clinic, and all of a sudden, kids start coming in, they start coming in, they start coming. We had over 500 kids. We have 250 T-shirts. So I made the brilliant, I don't know how I thought, I said, "Nope, we're giving you a voucher. You have to come back tonight to get the T-shirt." And so we ended up running out of T-shirts just like we ran out of gas against North Dakota State that night. So, well, how did we get here? We got here because Jeff Mitty, the former coach, and I are the two worst schedulers in the country. He needed 2 games. I needed 2 games. So, and it was a year where we were very good. We ended up going to the Final Four of the NAIA. He went to the Final Four of Division II, and we split with him that year. And so it was, I kept calling this guy by the name of Jerry Meyer, and I said, "Hey, can't you get me involved in this job? Can you get me involved?" And he said, you got to be able to teach. And I said, "Well, I could teach. And so fortunately, we had 9 wonderful years here. Our kids were born in Cedar Rapids, but they grew up in St. Joe, and it was a wonderful community that we still love, and we have great friends there. First of all, this award is certainly a joint award. My wife deserves this more than I do, than anybody that's ever been around us knows that. I want you to ask her tonight if that's a new dress she has. We drove 1 hour and 45 minutes and got here about 5 o'clock. The other thing starts at 5:30, and she goes, "I forgot my dress at home." So she went to the mall, got her dress, and I'm sure I'll see a nice Visa bill tomorrow. My daughter, Brittany Dyer now, she ended up playing for us at UCM. She's here with her husband, Taylor, and Gigi's favorite, Brooks, who will be 3 in November. Our son DJ is an assistant coach at the university, or at Texas Kingsville down near Mexico. And so he's taken the family coaching. And then there's Maggie, and it's funny that E's made a little fun of Maggie because as a coach's kids, you kind of get to go to camps earlier than everybody else. So you may be a first grader. and there would be third graders there. And so I still remember it was the cutest thing because Max and Brooke Groom's granddaughter was at camp. And she was a third grader, and she was very small. Obviously, Maggie was small. We didn't have any adjustable baskets. Those two were the only two kids in camp that couldn't get to the basket. Till the final day, Max and Brooke's granddaughter made a bucket. Instantly, Maggie started crying, and everybody's going, "What's the matter?" And she goes, "I'm the worst player in camp." Well, of course, Max's granddaughter had to start crying after that. So that's my favorite camp story for Mag. I'm sure she appreciates that. A little bit about, we had no idea what the Gold Coat Club was, and we had no idea the impact it would have on us. And I just wanted to know that what some people that started off as kind of boosters ended up being great, great friends that we spent so much time with. And we'd like to thank the Frieders and the Myers, not only for the many meals you prepared for the team, but the countless times you offered sage coaching advice. And they cannot referee. They think they do from the stands, but they don't. We were fortunate. We lived on Tanglewood Drive, and we just had great people all around. Our daughter Britt now describes her neighborhood as a hatchery, and that's what we had there because everybody had kids, and it was just so much fun. And John and Cheryl Slangy, we got so fortunate that they were our neighbors. And whenever I'd introduce John, I introduced him as John the neighbor. And everybody goes, "Does he have a last name?" No, he's John the neighbor. Everybody knows him as John the neighbor. Tanette and Greg Eagleberger had a whole house full of kids and a whole bunch, but they always found time to have our team over as a group or a struggling player individually. Tonette still hasn't forgiven me for taking Tammy from St. Joe to Warrensburg. Yes. Couple other people. You saw some pictures up there, and this is a basketball community, the St. Joe Braves. And the St. Joe Braves was just a bunch of parents that started a young kids organizations, and we went and played everywhere. And Scott and Maria Burnham were a big part of that, so that was fantastic. And I've got to keep say hello to Galen and Nigel, who Galen's our bus driver there. Wave your hand there, Galen and Nigel. And we had so many epic fun trips that were just a blast. It's funny because recruiting's changed a little. Back in those days, we'd recruit the best local kids we could find and then junior college kids from all over the country. And we were so fortunate to get Jenny Marr. That was our first big recruit from a California JUCO. And I'm going to be honest, I came from Mount Mercy College in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. She's not a white Iowa Catholic girl. And her and I may have butted head a couple times, and I'm not sure who won, but she ended up with a fantastic career here and was the MVP of the league, and am blessed and honored that you're coming on this night with us. So that's awesome, Jenny. The other things about Missouri Western, there's something special about the staff and the closeness of everybody here. And those are people you work with for years, and Baggs was my office mate over there, the softball coach, and we had a great time. And Ease was around as a GA, helped coach basketball, etc. He was so much fun. I was glad to have Tom Smith around to help mentor me into Division II basketball. I thought that he had a great program, and he showed me some things that we had to do a little bit better, and it was fantastic. I did skip over. I do have to tell the one story. Okay, all right. So we got a lot of local kids, and the Whalers, Danielle Knibe, Carly Lee, Dana Oberstedt, Tara Roth, Dr. Michelle Parlett, Aubrey Euler. Shannon Whaler's my favorite story, okay? And she won't kill me for telling it, but she'll enjoy it. But Shannon, it was my first year here, and it was 23 years ago. And so I had to get to know the kids, so individually we met. And so I said, hey, tell me about your family. And she goes, well, I'm so embarrassed. My mom just had a baby. I coached that baby whenever I was at Central Missouri, and she just graduated 2 years ago with a nursing degree. So it was quite a time. I would like to also, some of the great people I had work for me. Josh Keister was here for a long time. He also helped me at UCM, does a fantastic job. Mike Nicholson's now my coach, and Mike Nicholson was here working for Tom forever. Mike is the best recruiter in Division II basketball and is an outstanding bench coach. And let's just say that he and I both cried a lot of tears because it was so much fun to find a way to win a national title. And one of the things about the national title game is I was very fortunate that I had players, a player from Mount Mercy and then a player from Missouri Western. And my Mount Mercy player had played for me 28 years ago when she came to the game in Sioux Falls. Nicole Lindsay Collier came to the game, and in 2002, we were #1 in the country here at Missouri Western for almost the whole year, and we got upset. And she and I both there's a hole in our hearts that we didn't get our Griffin national title like we thought we should have, because we had a wonderful, great team, and it was just so much. You just have to get lucky, and we were at the right place at the right time. And that's why I think that our league's so good, because we've had 3 schools win national titles in women's basketball in the last 13 years. We've got Tony Hobson won an NAI, Rob Evanson back there, he won one in the NAI. We've got a lot of people that have won a lot of games, and so whenever anybody else in any other conference says anything, I said, no, we're #1 because we've got great coaches, great players, and a couple good administrators. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about another round of applause for 2018 Missouri Western State University Hall of Fame member, Mr. Dave Slifer. And Coach Slifer, I talked to Jerry and Linda, Fred, and Shirley. I hope you brought your trunks. We're going to get in the hot tub after the ceremony. Yes, absolutely. Congratulations, Coach. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our next inductee was one of the key players that made the Griffins' 1996-97 basketball team we just heard about so successful. In her 2-year career at Missouri Western, she left a lasting mark, and her strong play is one of the reasons Coach Slifer's tenure at Missouri Western got off to such a fast start. Jenny Marr was honing her skills at De Anza College before she ever arrived on the court at Missouri Western. De Anza has a reputation as one of the most successful community colleges in the state of California. Well, there, Jenny was a go-to player on the roster. Once at Missouri Western, she immediately went to work. Jenny was a driving force on the team, contributing to 40 victories over her 2 seasons as a Griffin. The 1996-97 season was really one to remember for all Griffin fans, as Marr's play on the hardwood that year spurred the team to both the MIAA regular season and tournament titles, as well as an NCAA tournament appearance. Marr's excellence on the court is evident in her statistics. Jenny was the team leader in several important categories during her time at Missouri Western. During the 95-96 campaign, her 450 points and 17 points per game were both team highs on the year. Jenny was an accurate shooter as well as a prolific scorer, hitting 201 of 342 shots. That is a 58% field goal percentage. On the glass, she was a ferocious rebounder, pulling down 184 rebounds that season. That is an average of 7 per game. Jenny's 96-97 season was even better. She once again led the team in scoring and rebounding categories. She increased her point production as well, racking up 507 total points and an average of 17.5 points per game on the season. She did that by hitting 213 of 366 shots for a 55% field goal percentage clip. Her biggest improvement came on the boards as she increased her rebounds to almost 9 per game that season. Jenny got notice of other MIAA coaches as they had to game plan for her talent. Her success on the court led to postseason honors in both years at Missouri Western. Mar garnered second-team honors in her first year with the Griffs, the 95-96 season, and her banner 96-97 season saw her named to the All-MIAA first team. Not only did Jenny earn first-team All-MIAA honors for her performance during that season, opposing coaches saw her contributions as the best of the best in the league. Jenny was named MIAA Co-Most Valuable Player as one of the 2 best players in the entire league. Jenny stayed active in basketball, playing in the San Francisco Bay Area Pro-Am Women's League in 1995, 97, 98, and 99. Her team was the 95 league champion. The San Francisco Bay Area Pro-Am League men's side alumni has players the caliber of NBA stars Gary Payton, Jason Kidd, and Kurt Rambis, with comparable talent in the women's league. Jenny's time here at Missouri Western and the success she achieved has been always a source of pride for the family. Today's a great day for the Marr family to once again celebrate that success. Back home in California, Jenny works as a correctional officer, and we appreciate her service. Ladies and gentlemen, 2018 Hall of Fame member, Miss Jenny Marr.
First and foremost, I'd like to thank everybody for voting me in, for coming, to the Slifers for taking a chance on me. Because I first signed at LU, and they didn't have my stuff ready, my house ready. So my parents called Slifer and said, she's leaving, and she needs to go to a school. She can't come back to California, though, but she needs to go to a school. And yeah, we bumped heads. We bumped them. But that's what great minds do. I appreciate you guys. Miss Slifer, Coach Slifer, I appreciate you. Even though I had, I would say a little bit of attitude. I was a little cocky, just a tad bit, you know, just a little bit. I was a little rough around the edges. But I do thank you for taking that chance. This award is not about me. It's about all you guys that came to the game. My friends, table 15, who I drove crazy. My sweet mate, Janice Wallace, who kept me out and kept me up all night. That's why I was a little sluggish at practice. Who always used to say, bend your knees, pop your wrists. To Falana, who always had that smile to keep me calm. To Smokey, who just, I don't know how she put up my craziness, but she did. To my homie, Tasha and Aunt, we had us some times. If them dorm rooms can talk, I think we'd be kicked out of school. To the Eagle Burgers, you guys mean a lot to me. Thank you for opening your home. I'm the troubled one. I'm the one that was homesick. If it weren't for you guys, I'd probably still be that way. It was a trip because they had 7 kids. I wasn't accustomed to seeing 7 kids. They were coming out the woodworks on me. I'm like, wow. You know, you got 7? You still walking? I got 7. I said, you make 8. I'm like, wow. Thank you guys. Thank you. I share this Hall of Fame with you guys too. To my parents, my dad, who used to get up early in the morning, go to work, and come home and get up early in the morning. He used to spoil me. I thank you. You taught me what hard work is. To my mom, who sent me those 36 boxes when I was homesick. Because I know you guys helped me carry them. So we had all kind of zoom, zoom, wham, whams. We looked like we were AM/PM market. I had everything. We didn't have to go out the dorms for anything. I thank you. To my cousins who came from St. Louis, the King family, thank you. To my junior college coach who helped me understand this game. I was a kid that only played street ball. I didn't go to the AAUs. I didn't have the Nike shorts. I came through with cutoff shorts. I think I had Chuck Taylors on one day, some other stuff on another day. I hung out with the riffraff. And he accepted me no matter what. And to the man that introduced me to the game would be my older brother, who I remember we lived in Toledo, Ohio, and I was only, 4? And he was into the basketball. I was into playing with my dolls. And he said, we need one more person to play. Mind you, it was a blizzard, and we're playing in my grandmother's kitchen. I'm like, one more person for what? Just 2 of you guys. Either you play or we're going to hold your doll hostage. I said, okay, you sure you want to do that? We're going to hold your doll hostage. It was him and my cousin Corey. I think Corey got the bad end of that, holding my doll hostage. So we ended up playing. He had his wristband, and we were playing on the curtains. Now, you can't bounce a wristband. So I don't know how we played, but we did. And I thank him for introducing me to the game of basketball. I didn't choose it. It chose me. I mean, even growing up, when we moved to California, he would play. We were playing our front house, and we used to have the ones with the rim attached to the garage. So every time we shot, it'd make noise. You thought it was an earthquake. And we would play. I think we played at least 300 games during that time. He would throw my shot across the street, literally. He would throw me against the garage. He would back me down, and I think I only beat him one time. And I thought that was my championship right there. I beat him one time, and we went overtime. I said, how do you go in overtime into 1-on-1? He goes, nah, it's tied. And I did a Mark Price layup with the opposite hand, and it was awkward. And I beat him. And that's when I knew, okay, you opening the door now for the sign of greatness. I'm not saying I'm the greatest player, but you'll know you played against me. I might not have won them all, but you played against me. If it wasn't for my brother, I wouldn't have played this game. I used to watch him play in high school. He used to have those little teeny shorts on, afro, Chuck Taylors. I used to see him. I'm like, this is all right. He's doing his thing out there. I used to get jealous because he used to get the trophies. I'm like, wow, everybody had trophies except for me. And that's it. I don't want to take up too much time. Thank you, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2018 Hall of Fame member, Miss Jenny Marr. Congratulations, Jenny, on your selection into the Missouri Western State University Athletics Hall of Fame. Our next inductee, I was talking to her before we started the ceremony, and I said, you know what? People don't realize that we used to play softball in front of Spratt Stadium, and we used to play it pretty darn well, as I remember. Our next inductee has been described by her championship softball coach, Jen Trotter, as a workhorse. On her teams that turned Griffin softball around and put the program on its current trajectory of consistent success. Workhorse is certainly an apt description, as Dana Wirtz-Leach is #1 among all players in the Missouri Western single-season rankings for both her 261 innings pitched and 51 appearances during the 2005 season, having started 41 games that year, also most ever for a Griffin in a single season. Dana's 25 wins in 2005 is tied for second most wins in a season. Dana's eye-popping numbers for that 2005 single season, combined with her work the other 3 years of her Griffin career, find Dana ranked in the top 5 all-time in most pitching categories. 126 appearances are the second most for a Griffin softballer ever. 70 complete games, an extraordinary 656 and 2/3 innings pitched, and 60 wins are all ranked number 3 all-time by a Griffin pitcher. Dana recorded 479 strikeouts in her illustrious career, and that places her 4th on the all-time career list, as does her 6 saves. Dana's 16 shutouts tie her for 4th. When Dana was pitching, she was very stingy, posting a 2.44 earned run average during her career. For her efforts in the circle, Dana was honored with conference postseason recognition twice during her career, both in 05 and 06. She was named to the first team All-MIAA in 2005 and earned honorable mention All-League in 2006. Her performance in that 05 season also earned Dana region-level recognition as she was named to the NFCA All-North Central Region's 2nd team. Dana was a true student-athlete. In addition to the postseason honors just mentioned, she was also the Wilson MIAA Player of the Week for the week of May 3rd, 2005. In the classroom, she earned the MIAA Commissioner's Honor Roll Award for the 05 and 06 season, and she graduated in 2007 with her BS in Business Administration. The former Dana Wirtz became Dana Leach when she and AJ, who is seated with her at the head table, were married 3.5 years ago. They have an active son, Truman, 2.5, who keeps them very busy. Since leaving Missouri Western, Dana has continued to be active in the softball community. She is the junior varsity coach of the Lincoln Knights softball team, where Dana herself once starred. For her real job, she is a registered client associate for D.A. Davidson, where she has worked for 2.5 years. And ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are proud to call her a Missouri Western State University Hall of Fame member. Ladies and gentlemen, 2000 inductee, Mrs. Dana Wirtz Leach.
Okay, I just want to start out by saying thank you to everyone in attendance here. It means a great deal to be honored, along with everyone up here and the 2 former softball other inductees, Amy Beverly and Lindsay Predovich. It's a great history to kind of walk into and be with those other athletes. I'd like to thank Coach Bagley, who came and recruited me and took a chance on me because I wasn't sure where I wanted to go, and I really found who I was a person and then everything like that here at Missouri Western. I really enjoyed my time. It was wonderful to meet all the current players because I really found a home here at St. Joe, became the person I am, met great friends, and really enjoyed my time here playing softball too. I'd like to thank my parents. They're not here right now because they're watching my son. He obviously sleeping right now, but my mom and dad came to all of my games. My mom actually would drive to the 2 hours from Lincoln every day, every time we had a game here in St. Joe or away, and make it to those games, and that really mattered to me, and it was always great seeing her. She'd bring, I think, chocolate chip cookies or oatmeal cookies every game for the girls, and it was always nice having that touch of home come. I want to thank my husband and my son, because they allow me, obviously, to still coach, and that's a big part of my life is being involved with softball. And I want to do a quick story about why I became involved with softball. I want to thank my brother. He is in Vietnam currently. He's basically the reason I started pitching. So when I was 10, we were outside playing. He was big into soccer at this point of his life, and we were playing a made-up game, whatever. And he was kicking it back and forth, and I thought I was an all-star goalie at the time, so I decided to dive for a ball. And at that point, I reached out for the ball and broke my wrist. So at that point, I could no longer play my YMCA softball and throw overhand. I had to, guide it in underhand, and that's how kind of my softball career started. And I could throw straight, and some people saw that I had some potential, and then there it took off. So I just want to say thank you to everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2018 Hall of Fame inductee, Mrs. Dana Wirtz Leach. Congratulations, Dana, on your selection of the Missouri Western Athletics Hall of Fame. Our next Griffin great we'll induct this evening had to ask off work to be here tonight. When Scott Graham talked to him and asked if it would be a problem to attend on a work night, he said, "Don't worry, I'll be there." Besides missing work, his favorite football team plays tonight as well, so if he gets a score update, please forgive him if he's tempted to check his phone. Philip Nelson was the epitome of the old saying, number 73 in your program, but number 1 in your heart. That's because his heart is so big. Philip anchored the offensive line at the center position starting all 4 years wearing number 73. I mentioned Philip Nelson has a big heart. We know this is so because he started 44 consecutive games during his career as a collegiate football player, especially as an offensive lineman. You can't do that without playing through pain, fatigue, sometimes even major injury. Over the course of a season, the bumps and bruises, the hand dings, the muscle strains, they all add up, ladies and gentlemen. Philip began every Griffin play for 4 years when he sent the snap back to quarterbacks like fellow Hall of Famer Casey Waterman. He earned the respect of teammates on both sides of the ball for his durability, as the description of the Chris Farrow Scholarship states. You must demonstrate excellent performance academically and athletically to be considered for this award. Selection will also be based on your GPA, personal discipline, industry, character, and courage. Philip was awarded the Chris Farrow Scholarship because he embodied the attributes on which it is based. Opposing coaches recognized the performance Philip showed on the field against their teams as he twice earned postseason MIAA honors. Philip was a second-team All-MIAA selection for the 1998 season and a first-team All-MIAA performer for the 1999 season. Philip also garnered accolades at the region level, being named to the Daktronics All-Region team for his performance in the 1999 season. Philip graduated from Missouri Western in 2001, having earned his bachelor's degree in history with a teaching certification. Nelson was named to the academic honor roll 3 times. Philip went on to obtain his master's degree in physical education with an emphasis in athletic administration from Northwest Missouri State in 2003. Philip is joined tonight at the head table by his wife of 17 years, Mary Frances. They have 3 very proud young sons who are here with us tonight. Football may very well be in their future like it was for Dad. Owen at 12 is the oldest, and twins William and Jackson are both 9 years old. So I mentioned earlier, Coach Nelson was missing work this evening to receive his honor this weekend. You see, Philip is the offensive coordinator for the undefeated 7-0 Arlington High School Colts football team. We doing all right tonight, Coach? That's good. That's excellent. I'm sure he's waiting for that score update to see if they will run their record to 8-0 in his absence. Somehow, I know his players will be playing their tail off tonight to make their coach proud. And tonight, we are proud, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce to you 2018 Missouri Western State University Hall of Fame inductee, Mr. Philip Nelson.
I don't know if I can squeeze.
Well, you're welcome. Oh, never a doubt, right? Boy, that last step's a doozy now. Man.
All right, how you guys doing? First of all, I just want to say what a blessing, what an honor. I know without a doubt there are better football players than me in this Hall of Fame. I have no doubt about it. But I don't think there's probably anybody in this Hall of Fame that is more thankful than I am. I find that hard to believe. So I'm very grateful. Very grateful for the award, very grateful for the honor. This is probably without a doubt, one of the top biggest 3 moments of my adult life. I'd say one of those is marrying my beautiful wife, having my 3 children, and then this has to go up there. So this is a big, big deal to me, so I'm very thankful. I thought Jenny brought up something that I totally agree with. This award really isn't about me. It never really has been. I never played the football game for recognition. I never wanted to play to be recognized. I just wanted to play because I love the game. I love football. It's why I'm coaching. I love coaching. So when you talked about that, Jenny, that kind of struck a nerve with me there as well. I want to talk about offensive line real quick. I played offensive line. There is not a better group of people than the offensive line. If you want to know what's good to eat, you ask an offensive lineman. If you got a fight and you know someone's about to come at you, you better ask an offensive lineman. if you want someone to have your back no matter what's going on, good times, bad times, you better have an offensive line. It's what I am. It's what I've always been. It's what I coach now. And so truthfully, it's about everybody else. And so I'm so very thankful. When I very first got told back in June or July that I was going to be inducted, I first of all couldn't breathe for a few seconds. And then second of all, like anything else, hey man, how am I going to do this? How am I going to make sure that I know what I'm doing? Because with football, I can watch film. I can learn whatever defense I need to learn, how to stop it, what's the best plays I can learn. So what I did was naturally, I watched NFL Hall of Fame for about the last 3 or 4 years. And so I just watched video after video after video, and I said, okay, that's what it looks like. So what I did was, what I gathered from the Hall of Fame and the NFL was, you thank everybody that's ever played a role in your life, and that's what I'd like to do real quick. So first of all, I would like to thank Scott Graham and the Missouri Western Hall of Fame Committee, because without you guys, this would not be possible. So again, thank you very, very much. I'm very appreciative, and anyone else that may fall with that. Rogers Pharmacy for hosting this event. Thank you guys very, very much, because again, without you, we wouldn't have this, so I'm very thankful. I would like to thank my wife, who I think is the most beautiful woman in this world. Sorry, Mom. And here's the deal. I'm going to be honest with you. As I get older, I'm not getting better looking, but as my wife gets older, she's getting better looking. So I've definitely done well there. But we've been married now for 18 years, together for 20. Thank you for your love and support for all these years. We met here at Missouri Western. You really are, I appreciate everything. You're my rock, you're my best friend, you're the love of my life, and thank you for everything. The next thing I would like to do is thank my children. Owen, William, and Jackson are here. And when I say thank them, basically what I want to say is that I love you boys, and I hope that I set a great example of what hard work and determination looks like. I hope you can look at Daddy and always say, hey, this is how it's supposed to be done. And don't ever let anybody tell you can't do something. And people will do that. So don't ever let anyone or anybody tell you can't do anything, and do anything you want to do. My parents, and this is probably going to be the hardest one. My mom and dad, they're here. And my mom and dad play a big role in any success I have, because my mom and dad are two of the hardest working people I've ever met. I can remember growing up and going to school. My mom and dad were usually out of the house before we even got up. My mom would drive an hour to work every day, an hour back. It seemed like she left before 6 o'clock, and it seemed like she never got home till after 6:30. So she was always working. And so that had an impact on me. My dad would go to work even earlier, it felt like, and he would come home at 2 or 3 o'clock, get dressed, and go do another job. And so when you have parents like that, when you have people showing you what it looks like, you can't fail. And so for that, Mom and Dad, I thank you very, very much. And I want you to know that I love you guys, and I appreciate it. I also would like to thank my in-laws, Larry and Gailey Appleberry. They could not be here today. These are my wife's parents. They have accepted me from day one. They used to come to a lot of our football games. The Appleberrys have been nothing but kind to me and treated me with much love and respect, and so I'm very, very thankful for them as well. A few more people here. I'd love to thank my coaches throughout the year. It started in 3rd grade. I can remember when my dad came up to me. I'm doing my homework in 3rd grade, and I'm trying to just figure out life. And my dad said, son, there's a guy on the phone. His name is Tony Huff, and he wants to know if you want to play football. Well, I said, you're dang right I want to play football. And from then, life changed. But Tony Huff, from 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, taught me about football and really opened up my eyes to football. And from then on, it was not really a passion, it was an obsession. And I am still obsessed with football today, there's no doubt. It's an addiction. My high school coach. My high school coach was Bob Rose, and I'm going to tell you, to this day, I don't think a kid could have a better high school coach than Bob Rose. I think he's one of the greatest high school O-line coaches anyone could ever have had. Bob taught me about toughness, commitment, and no excuses. I'll always remember the story, and Bob was also my neighbor, which made it really ironic, but a great man, great person. But I'm a senior. I'm a senior in high school, and I've been starting since I was a sophomore, junior, senior year. And you know, when you're starting for a couple of years, you think you're pretty hot stuff, right? You think you can do a lot of things that you think you want. Well, one day, I forgot my shorts for football, and it was the day before a game. And so I'm like, oh man, we used to take our laundry home and wash it, and I'd left it at home. And so Coach Rose, hey man, I know you don't like to do this, but can you let me slide? Can you let me slide one time? Can you give me a pair of shorts? And Coach Rose, without missing a beat, looked me in the eye and says, let me tell you something, son. I said, oh, here we go. He said, son, excuses are like belly buttons, and no matter what you do with them or how you clean them, they always stink. And I said, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. And then he said, I'll give you some shorts. And so at this time, I'm the height I am now, I'm about 240. He gave me a pair of small shorts. So it looked like I was wearing spandex. And to make matters worse, on a Thursday, the cheerleaders are out there practicing on the field as well. So here I am with the tightest shorts you could possibly have. And everybody's laughing at me, including the cheerleaders. And you know, but I learned a lesson that day. With Bob Rose, everything was cut, everything was dry, there were no excuses, and really is a big reason why I'm a coach today. The last one I want to thank for my coaches was Les Boyum. Les Boyum was my offensive line coach for most of my career here at Arlington High. Lester B is what we called him. Lester B taught me a lot of things. The thing that I was most impressed with Lester B is, as I was a graduate assistant, because I coached here for 3 years, he taught me how to be a professional in a way. He just learning the day-to-day relationship with kids and players. And the big thing that Lester B taught me was you can't do everything yourself. I was a junior in college, and Lester B had been my my O-line coach for a year. And we had a redshirt freshman going to start on left guard next to me, and then a sophomore that never played, neither one of them. And my first game, my grade is horrible. And I mean, I'm like in the 60s, and that's not very good. And so Lester B pulled me to the side, and he said, Philip, man, you know what happened? And I said, Coach, I was so worried about this guy and that guy that I was trying to do everybody else's job but my own. And I wasn't very good at it. And he told me, Philip, just be you. Do your job. It's my job to coach them. Let me take care of them, you do your job. And I'm gonna tell you, it took a lot of weight off my shoulders. And at that point, I understood that, hey, do what I can do and let the coach take care of everything else. So Lester B played a big role. To coming to Missouri Western, one of the biggest reasons why I'm here is because of Bruce and Lana McMillan. Bruce and Lana McMillan were people who had graduated. Bruce played football here, graduated from Missouri Western State University. They're dear friends of my parents. They had talked to me about Missouri Western out of high school. Because I wasn't your 6'3", 6'4", 6'5" lineman, I only had D2 offers. And I had a lot of ones around Texas and Oklahoma and New Mexico, and Missouri Western was a great place. And I'm very, very thankful for the McMillans. One of the last things, the players. There are a lot of great players I played with all the way from elementary up to Missouri Western. Some of the ones that were my really good friends, and I really appreciate them, were Mitch Moakley and Reggie Trotter. I know Coach Trotter is the head coach at Central right now. I know they have a game. Mitch Moakley was one of our offensive linemen. These guys, for all the players, all the way, they always push me to get better and better and better, and that's what football is all about. Last but not least, I want to thank Coach Jerry Partridge and Coach Matt Williamson. So I know Coach Matt Williamson is here. First of all, I want to tell them thank you for your guidance, thank you for your friendship, your support, helping me become the young man I am. I know without either one of them that I would not be here today, and so I'm again very, very thankful. And so I owe both of you guys a huge, huge thank you. And thank you to anybody else that I may have missed. I'm very blessed, very honored, and thank you for everybody. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2018 Hall of Fame inductee, Mr. Philip Nelson. Congratulations, Philip, on your selection to the Missouri Western Hall of Fame. Our next inductee this evening is for sure an uncommon man. He's someone who has always been a builder of things. In fact, he says, it's in my blood. And indeed, his ancestors built most of the famous buildings in Edinburgh, Scotland in the 1700s. Steve Craig is quite simply an extraordinary man with extraordinary vision. As a visionary, he often sees opportunity where many others do not. It's doubtful, though, that even the young lad with St. Joe roots could have foreseen all he's done and experienced in his more than 6 decades. It is that vision, though, that has him here this evening. The vision that saw the potential of the Marblehead coastal property is the same vision that saw the potential for greatness here at Missouri Western. But back to that young boy. After building models and tree houses, Steve built his first business, a hot dog hamburger candy stand at age 10. By 12, he'd branched out into fireworks, and in fact, it was his chain of fireworks stands that helped to put him through USC. Maybe the fireworks following scores or after the games at Spratt Stadium is a direct result of that early fireworks stand. In 1973, a young Steve Craig arrived in Southern California just 3 weeks after his high school graduation with plans to attend UCLA. He quickly learned they did not offer the business program he desired. Moving to Plan B, Steve enrolled at Santa Ana College, where he became fully involved. Steve has said, when you go to college and you're paying for it, you want to extract the most you possibly can. Following that logic, in addition to his classroom responsibilities, he was part of the tennis team and a student government as well. Last year, Santa Ana College inducted Steve into their Alumni Hall of Fame. Upon leaving Santa Ana College, Steve continued his studies, graduating from USC. Steve is drawn to real estate development with experience as a Coldwell banker and Anchor West Development. Those experiences, along with exposure to the Xerox Corporation training program, readied him to launch the organization in 1984, of which he is the founder, president, and CEO, the Craig Realty Group. With outlets across America and Italy, it is an international juggernaut in the outlet shopping mall business. A word about Steve's vision and persistence. The outlets at San Clemente, when it opened, it became one of the Craig Realty Group's crown jewels. The project took more than 18 years to open and involved an investment of more than $100 million, 200 months, and 125 public hearings. Steve Craig isn't just a visionary real estate developer. His tremendous vision frequently couples with his desire to improve the lives of others through philanthropy. His benevolence in establishing the Stephen L. Craig School of Business is one such example. In 2008, seeing the need at Missouri Western, located in his boyhood hometown, Steve became the largest donor in the university's history. His initial pledge of $5.5 million, which eventually grew to $7.8 million by 2013, established the Stephen L. Craig School of Business. Steve modestly says, I just wanted to inspire people to do great things and at the same time create a phenomenal business school. He's done that and more. For example, his graduate franchise program in the school's Applied Learning Center for Entrepreneurship has given dozens of Missouri Western graduates a running start with franchise opportunities with companies like Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory and Blaze Pizza. If you don't realize it by now, when Steve Craig does things, he does them in a big way. His vision with the Spratt Stadium scoreboard has been another example of making lives better for others, in this case by enhancing the game day experience with size, scale, technology, and pyrotechnics. From the groundbreaking to the day of dedication and everything in between, this was a project done on a grand scale. Early on, when fans saw the superstructure rise out of the ground while under construction, talk of the scoreboard was everywhere. When the tractor-trailer caravan carrying the eventual scoreboard began its cross-country trek, people kept track of its progress. Then came Dedication Day, a day once again made possible by the generosity and vision of Steve. His gift of $1.5 million was the largest ever from an individual in Griffin Athletics history. The day it was completed, it instantly became the largest video board in NCAA Division II. Steve Craig spoke on that warm, sunny day at the dedication ceremony where Craig Field was named at his honor. Steve wanted to put a finishing touch on renovations at Spratt Stadium, and he looked to build something new rather than improve something already in place. Out of the inspiration of one of St. Joe's native sons, Steve Craig came the pavilion that honors another St. Joe native son, legendary Kansas State football head coach Bill Snyder. The Bill Snyder Pavilion was Steve's idea and made possible by his generous gift of well more than $600,000. In its short time, the pavilion has already become a popular gathering spot for fans before and during games at Spratt Stadium. One of the real highlights for fans throughout the stadium is the huge American flag so prominently displayed in the center of the pavilion. Steve Craig's generosity to the university as a whole, but specifically to Griffin Athletics, has been transformational. Many thousands of people visit the Spratt Stadium complex each year for football and soccer games, the summer training camp of the Kansas City Chiefs, spring commencement exercises, marching band competitions, and a host of other special events. Steve's gifts have helped create an atmosphere for those events that is second to none. Ladies and gentlemen, 2018 Hall of Fame inductee, Mr. Steve Craig. I think that's a trap door.
I know. Yeah, you have to be very careful. I don't want to start giving his speech all over again, so I'm going to move things around. Well, good evening, everyone, and thanks so much for being here. I'd like to start by congratulating my fellow inductees, Jenny, Dave, Philip, and Dana, all of whom are fine athletes and fantastic coaches and very deserving of this honor. So congratulations. Now, Dave, earlier you talked about something, and I was struck by it because I thought something really, really bad was going to happen besides the vehicle spinning over. But when you talked about being short of T-shirts, that's what really got me, because I had this visual that he needed 500, he had 250, that he was going to start cutting him in half. I don't know if you guys thought that, but it seemed like that's where he was going with it. There's a lot of regret there. I'd also like to thank my friends and family who took time out to join us this evening. And a special thanks to people that came from faraway places like Texas, Florida, Colorado, a few Colorado people here, thank you so much. The New Mexico crowd, where's the New Mexico guys? Good guys over there, part of the entrepreneurship program. And of course, California. So thank you all for taking time out to travel that great distance to come here. And one of those folks from California, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to have him stand for a moment. His name is Alex Berner. And he's sort of the quiet guy, the Northwestern Mutual guy that's really been behind all the things that have come here to Missouri Western, including that scoreboard, because Alex was in charge of building it, designing it, and making sure that the technology worked very well with it. So big hand to Alex. Now I tell you that because in case the scoreboard doesn't work tomorrow, you know who to look to. Thank you very much, Alex. Well, after learning of my election to the Missouri Western Hall of Fame, I phoned one of my closest friends at USC, and I told him that I had been inducted to the Hall of Fame, or was about to be, and he said, "Really? How is that possible?" So winning the Forrest Gump Memorial Ping Pong Tournament would qualify for you for the Hall of Fame? It's important to note that the Forrest Gump movie really didn't come out for 18 years after I won that tournament my junior year. It was a big tournament win, and it is true that I did win it my junior year. But the fact is, I've really never thrown a touchdown pass, made a three-point shot, or even hit a home run for Missouri Western Athletics. But what I did try to do, and will continue to try to do, is to change the approach for the various athletic projects that get taken and are putting underway. I wanted to create a new way of thinking, a new paradigm. For far too long, I felt that the university was willing to accept second, third, or maybe fourth best alternative in terms of athletic facilities. And to a certain extent, the community as a whole was complicit with this acceptance. Don't get me wrong, I recognize that the university can only do so much with the money that they have, but to get ahead of your peers to change the culture as well as the perception of your program, you have to think big and you have to reach for a better outcome. You also have to believe that it can be done, and above all, you can't give up. It was the fall of 2010 when I first met then athletic director Dave Williams. And Dave was interested in touring me through the new Griffin Indoor Sports Complex. And after seeing this beautiful practice field, Dave said, well, let's go out to the football field. And to my surprise, the stadium, the various amenities had not changed since I had attended a game there almost 30 years ago with Randy Jones, who actually is here tonight. I said, Dave, we need to put a plan together. We need to upgrade these facilities, and we need to start by replacing this high school scoreboard. Well, it took the better part of 6 years, 2 athletic directors, but we got it done. What many now consider as the finest scoreboard in all of Division II sports is now in place. And not only do the fans enjoy it, it supports the various teams that play in Spratt Stadium. It also sends a very strong message to potential recruits, opposing teams, and our great fans that we're serious about winning. Now, there's a lot of people to thank for supporting the scoreboard project, and most notably, the university's amazing president, Dr. Robert Vartabedian. It was Bob's faith and trust in me that allowed me to think extra big and get this job done. I would also like to acknowledge 2 athletic directors, Kurt McGuffin, as well as Dave Williams, for getting things started. The same was true with the recently completed Bill Snyder Pavilion. With the unwavering support of Bob, Josh Looney, and honorary coach Jerry Pickman, our design and construction teams were given full latitude to be as imaginative as possible in order to create a whole new game day experience. And by the way, at the same time, honoring an amazing person. I know all of you that were here that day that got to see Bill Snyder recognize that. A special thanks goes out to the E.L. Crawford Construction Company. They partnered with me on the project, and they agreed to do it for no profit, no markup, just to get the job done. So it's those types of commitments and partnerships, and I know that Kelly Crawford is here, and Kelly, if you wouldn't mind standing, that would be great. His generosity allowed us to go way beyond what was originally contemplated in terms of that project, so I'm very grateful for your working relationship. You know, I'm constantly asked, why have I gotten involved with Missouri Western, particularly the athletic department? And people usually go on to say, well, you didn't even go to school there. Well, I usually tell them, I say, well, Missouri Western is my hometown university. And I also share with individuals that say this, that the needs are much greater and the dollars go a heck of a lot further at Missouri Western than at my alma mater. And I know there's a couple USC grads here with me tonight. During the USC's most recent capital campaign, the university raised $6.5 billion. Had I given all the money that I gave to Missouri Western to USC, it wouldn't have even been a rounding error. And besides, it's really cool to have your name on a football field. Finally, it's very important to note, for me, giving is a very joyful experience. It's especially fun that you can give when you're still young enough to watch the fruits of those gifts. People often say, why bother? One person really can't make a difference. And I say, I disagree. I'm living proof of that. In closing, I hope you will join me as I will continue to work very hard in helping make Missouri Western the #1 sports program in all of Division II sports, not just the MIAA. With that, I will say thank you for this great honor. I look forward to seeing you all again very soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2018 Missouri Western State University Athletics Hall of Fame member, Mr. Steve Craig. Steve, congratulations on your selection to the Missouri Western Hall of Fame. Here they are, ladies and gentlemen. You've met the Missouri Western State University Hall of Fame class of 2018. Inductees, as your name is called, please stand one last time. Miss Jenny Marr. Mr. Steve Craig. Mr. Dave Slifer. Mrs. Dana Wartz Leach. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Philip Nelson. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been my sincere pleasure to be your MC this evening. I'd like to take a moment to remind you of a few important events that are taking place tomorrow. Kickoff of our Griffin football game against Pittsburgh State is at 1 p.m. The Hall of Fame ring induction ceremony will take place at halftime. I would ask all of our inductees to please report to Scott Graham at the southwest end of the track that is opposite the large scoreboard with 5 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Ladies and gentlemen, again, it's been my pleasure to be your MC this evening, and now it's my pleasure to turn the program over to Hall of Fame Chairman and Hall of Fame member himself, Mr. Scott Graham. Come on up, Scott.
Thank you, Brett. You know, all I can say is what a phenomenal Hall of Fame class this is. A women's MIAA most valuable player, a softball pitcher who ranks top 5 in 13 single season or career statistical categories, the winningest coach in women's Missouri Western basketball history, who, by the way, has a national championship on his resume. A true Iron Man from the gridiron who started 44 consecutive games in his award-winning career, and the man whose philanthropic efforts make him the largest individual donor ever at Missouri Western State University. These 5 extraordinary individuals are fantastic representatives of the truly rich pool of contributors to Missouri Western athletics through the years. It's been my privilege and honor for several years to come to the podium at this point in the program and thank the many people who have pulled together to make this evening possible. Tonight is a little different, however. My first thank you is one I've sincerely offered to this individual each year for his steadfast support of athletics. This year is different, though, because as you heard earlier, and many of you already knew, this will be the last time Dr. Vardabedian and First Lady Laurel will preside over this event. As most of you know, Dr. Vardabedian has announced his retirement will take place next July. I'll be very honest, as I thought about how I might address this issue tonight, I realized in past years I never really ever thought about them not being here. Their tenure for me seems so much longer in terms of all they've both accomplished, and conversely, so much shorter in terms of what I wish for the leadership of the university that I love. Dr. Vardabedian, in my opinion, was the exact right person at the exact right time to lead our university when he came to St. Joe, and his arrival was a real inflection point in progress for Missouri Western. I'd like to ask your indulgence for a very brief personal story. About 2 years after Dr. Vardabedian became president at Missouri Western, I was diagnosed with a serious medical condition. Dr. Vardabedian was one of the very first people to reach out to me expressing concern and support. I will never forget that kindness. I only mention this because that is the type of personal connection with people that makes him so special. Under your leadership, the university in general and athletics specifically has made quantum leaps in the last decade. As a proud alum, I can never thank you enough. I want to offer my sincere personal thanks for the supportive leader you've been for athletics during this most exciting time in our history. At this time, Dr. Vardabedian and Laurel, I'd like to ask my dear friend Zach Workman, Gold Coat President, to come to the podium. I know Zach has some special words of his own, after which we will ask both of you to come up for a special presentation on behalf of the Gold Coat Club and the Hall of Fame.
Well, I can remember years ago sitting at a table across from you when you were first introduced as the president, and I can tell you that we cannot thank you enough for your loyalty, to your leadership, to all those things you have given Missouri Western over these 11 years. Doesn't seem like 11 years. It seemed like yesterday we were sitting in the cafeteria across the table introducing ourselves to each other and having the opportunity to share some stories. And you have now continued to build your resume, and we wish you nothing but the very best. You have represented us well. I've said to everyone since he got on campus, we got a package deal. We not only got one individual who represented our university so well, we have two. And we know your future life with your grandchildren, and those things that are coming your way will be fully fulfilled. And I know you can't wait to get there, but we ask you to wait at least a few more months and continue to do the job you do. So if you please come forward, we have something special to give to you, if you would please. The Gold Coat Board, please. Over the years, I've had the extreme pleasure to represent the Gold Coat Club, and it is an organization throughout many years, started in 1969 by our dear friend Charlie Burry, to raise money for the athletic department. And we continue to do those funds every year with the anticipation of bringing in great athletes, student athletes who represent Missouri Western well in their sport and in their field, and I think we continue to do that with great pride. There is also an individual group of people who make those things happen every year. If you could, just for a moment, please indulge. I'd like to have my Gold Coat Board please stand if you're here, members of the Gold Coat Board, for all your work and the things that you do every year. Two quick things, and I won't keep you long. I know these have been long for you guys. I think that there is one individual, too, that you've noticed around this event this evening who takes no credit. And a dear friend, I love him like a brother, but Scott Graham is one individual who sits behind the scenes. He did all the presentations, does all these things with so much love and appreciation from Missouri Western. If you'll please give Scott an appreciation and a round of applause. And finally, I want to thank Dave, first of all. I tell Dave this, I congratulate him. I don't look forward to playing him 2 times a year, and I will never cheer for him during those 2 times per year. But I gave him the best of luck, and congratulations on your award. Well deserved. To Steve, I mean, the words cannot be enough. We thank you for all you have done, the things you have in your vision, what you want Missouri Western to be. It doesn't cost that much more to go first class. It does cost, but it doesn't cost that more, because if you have the vision and you want to make it happen, you can do those things for sure. To our athletes who maybe haven't been back on this campus now for maybe up to 20, 25, 30 years, you're about to notice a big change. And those changes have occurred because people throughout the community and this university to continue to support the needs of this university. I've learned over my few years that you don't have to build the big buildings. We love those, and we'll take more of those. But you do have to do something. You should give something back. Years ago, we all were athletes. And as we go through that athletic time, after we get done playing and we're kind of out for a little bit, we always think, you know what, I'm not going to give back. They still owe me. I gave them 4 years. I gave them 5 years. But the truth of the fact is, we do owe that university. The groundwork they set, the things that they've done for us, the life that they've given us, all those things are a part of what makes this university so very special. So I hope that you can get involved, no matter what level it might very well be. If it's your time, awesome. Get involved someplace and be a proactive part of Missouri Western's future. If you can give money, we'll take all you have. We enjoy what you do. But it's about being involved in the moment. It's about being involved in what's happening in this future of Missouri Western. There are so many great things about this place. I've been fortunate to be here since 1970. It seems like it's just been yesterday and since that took place. But those years go by so fast. And all of a sudden, in the latter part of these things going on, you realize what a great place this is. And what a great place it has been to be a part of that. So I hope that somewhere along the line, you can do those things as well, to be involved at whatever that level might very well be. But to all of our graduates out there and our young athletes, I tell you this. You can leave, and I've said this many times, but don't go away. It's easy for us to go away someplace else and say, I don't need them anymore. I've got my life over here. But don't forget who got you where you are today. Surround yourself with good people. Make good things happen in your life, and great things will happen around you as well. I thank you very much, and may God bless.
We're almost done. I do have some other very important thank yous that need to happen. I'd like to take a moment to express our appreciation to several Hall of Fame members for their generosity. Each one of our Hall of Fame inductees up here will receive a ring tomorrow at the halftime of the ball game. And these great couples on the board have provided sponsorship for those rings. Charlie and Patty Burry. Charlie is the very first member of the Hall of Fame, class of 1984. I like to say you're in a class by yourself, Charlie, in more ways than one. Myself and my wife, and I'm a member of class of 2005, Lyle and Freda Smith. Lyle is one of the staunchest supporters. His wife is not here this evening, and we wish she was. Myron and Connie Unzicker. Myron is a member of the Hall of Fame, class of 2009, and Zach and Mary Workman. Zach is a member 1991. Again, a very special thank you to each of you for your generous support. I would also like to once again thank the 10 table sponsors. Brett mentioned them at the beginning of the program, and you can find their names at the inside cover of your program. The financial support that we receive from these donors is very vital to providing you with a first-class event. The Missouri Western Alumni Association was our host for the nice reception across the hall earlier this evening. Thank you to the Alumni Association, but in particular, I want to thank my personal thanks to Colleen Kowich, Director of Alumni Relations, for all her work in support of this Hall of Fame event as many other events, both as a committee member and as her role as Director of Alumni Relations. And can we have one more round of applause for our title sponsor, Rogers Pharmacy? My last thank yous have to do with the committee that I get the privilege of working with. Our work to select these candidates starts early in the year, goes all the way through the year. We have so many wonderful people to choose from, and that's how we're able to get a class that looks like this. But if those folks that are members of the committee that are here tonight could stand, I would really appreciate it. I'd like to thank a group of people that came this morning, helped set our room up. Carl Butcher, Rich Lenig, Howard McCauley, Jerry Myers, Myron Unziker, Mike Holden, Patsy Smith, and Tom Smith. And then, of course, our leader, Brett Easley. I know you're here somewhere, Brett. There you are, hiding. Brett gave us our marching orders, and like my parents always used to say, many hands make light work, and the room was set up very quickly. I'd also like to thank Nancy Black, who year after year staffs our registration table and welcomes the people to the reception. Once again, I'd like to thank Brett. He's the glue that holds all this together. I mean, any time I panic, I text him or call him. He's always got an answer. He is a wonderful partner for me. I guess I'm his partner. He's in charge. But last but not least, we'd like the inductees to make your way over here in the next little bit so that some photos can be taken behind or in front of the backdrop. And I would just remind you about the need to be down on the end of the field tomorrow, and we'll get you lined up and get your rings. Thank you very much to everybody for coming tonight. Appreciate it. Oh, you're most welcome.